Well, that was fun, Thomas. 9 holes of golf out there. I thought you hit the ball pretty nicely. Obviously, when you get done with your round, it's always nice to kind of analyze what you did. I know some people count their putts, they count their fairways, their greens in regulation, and keep those type of stats. Do you keep a record of your rounds or do any stat keeping?
I've actually just started using the Arcos strokes gained. So I've been trying to do the strokes gained. And one thing that's really stood out to me has been my putting has been really has been struggling, and my fairways hit has been struggling.
Sure.
But otherwise, everything else has been pretty strong.
Right. And we saw a little bit of that today. So the fairways, again, you never hit a wild drive. Obviously, the drives that weren't in the fairway were still playable, which is a big part of it. But obviously, keep working on the driving, trying, like you said, you're trying to hit more fairways, and obviously, lag putting is always going to be an important part of scoring, and just trying to get real proficient inside of 5 feet. All of that is pretty good. But no, I mean, strategy-wise, again, golf is a fairly easy game when you're down the middle and on the green. It's when you get off the beaten track and start making those decisions. But I thought your decision-making today was very good. Let me ask you a question. I know this is a big part of course strategy too, and you hear this constantly out of tour players, especially when they're playing in majors, but the word you hear constantly is patience. What does patience mean to you on the golf course?
A challenge.
Okay.
A real challenge.
Yeah.
I don't have the best patience. I know I'm a good player. I expect good things out of myself, and I think my expectations can sometimes get out in my way a lot of the times, and my patience can definitely be challenging.
Sure.
Yeah.
Does that mean you get ahead of yourself in your round sometimes, or you make bad decisions when you get impatient, or when you start your round and maybe you've had 5 or 6 pars and you feel like you should be a couple under, and then you start to press a little bit, and again, that's going to affect your strategy a little bit, isn't it?
Yeah, it's both. It's when
Sure.
I get off to a good start and don't make any putts, and I'm like even through 6 or 7 holes, I'm like I should be 3 or 4 under. Then I start to kind of press it a little bit, and I turn that round and make some stupid bogeys. Or it's when I'm just not playing very well, and I get frustrated and trying to drive harder, and then I just mental block out there is I just don't think about the smart play on the course. Yeah.
So obviously it's hard to work on patience on the range. You're working on mechanical stuff there, but when obviously get on the golf course, even in your casual rounds, you can still work on your patience. It's a big part of just being better. Obviously, bad thinking leads to bad scores.
Yeah,
more than bad swings.
Yeah, and I mean, thinking back to hole 6 today when we were playing that one, yeah, I made bogey. It was the only bogey that I made. But I wanted to go with that flag out of the bunker. I wanted to go for the heroic shot, and I didn't make the putt, but at least I gave myself a chance to make the putt. I think that was probably a smarter play as opposed to trying to do something cute with it.
You can always recover from bogeys. It's the doubles and the higher there that get people in trouble. Exactly. So yeah, keep minimizing the damage. Obviously, when you get into trouble there. But again, I thought for the most part you had some pretty good control over your shots today. And again, that's makes the strategy a lot easier. And again, your patience will come obviously when you start working on it.
Yeah, I feel like today I got rewarded for my patience, because after that hole, then I chipped down on the next hole for eagle, and then I birdied the next hole.
Exactly.
I'm like, well, maybe sometimes sometimes it works in your favor.
And you have to realize that too. You know, and that's why too you see tour players, they'll get off to a poor start, but they keep their patience and they turn their round around because they know in their mind, hey, it's just one hole, and I'm playing good enough to where I can do that. Where again, you start getting on this type of spiral out there, then it's very, very tough to get out of that. So. Obviously, positive thinking is what separates the top tier players from the guys that struggle a little bit. So
yeah. So what from today? What would you see that maybe I can work on, prescribe for me? Knowing that I've got a pretty busy summer tournament schedule coming up here too. Anything that you see that is sure that I should work on?
I don't think I see anything glaring that is real bad. I mean, obviously, getting the stock shot off the tee is very good there. Obviously, nothing went to the left there. So, if you know that your ball is going to curve a little bit to the right like that, it makes it a lot easier for you to aim. And again, you've talked about a little bit is what you did for equipment-wise there. Changed the loft of your driver a little bit, which looked like it was a pretty good decision for you right there. So, dialing in your equipment and not having to fuss with that during the course of the summer is obviously a big thing too. Your set makeup, the golf ball you're playing, settle in on a putter that you want right there too, and then just go out and play golf and enjoy it a little bit more too. Obviously, again, we see that all the time. I mean, again, the perfect example recently has been Lee Westwood. I mean, Lee's played some terrific golf, hasn't won, but he's had a couple of great finishes.
Mm-hmm.
And he said it's just basically he's having fun. Well, gee, isn't that what golf is supposed to be all about? But yeah, having fun leads to some pretty good golf, you know,
Yep.
where if you start beating yourself up too much, I mean, this game will get to you, and you just can't let it get to you. Just
Very
can't.
good. Yeah.
And
Well, Mike, thanks so much
You're welcome,
for,
yeah.
for giving my playing lesson. I definitely feel like I needed a second
Sure.
eyes for sure on
Yeah.
the golf course, and I
Good.
think I learned a few things today.
let's do it again.